Uh, Graph is very important or a very crucial topic in what a high school mathematics, right? So in this video, we are going to focus on quadratic graph, right? Okay, so quadratic graph. So there are three things you have to pay attention to if you want to draw almost any graph, right? So what I mean by the three things here, you have something that I'm going to call the input. Okay, so the input. So as the name implies, means that something that you are going to put into a certain machine, right? So that is what one keyword here. So here we are having what? Here's the machine. So assuming this is the machine. So this machine here we are going to call it what? The function, right? So this is what we are calling what? The function. So this is the machine. So whatever you are having here, we are going to place that inside of the machine. Then finally, of course, if there is input in the machine, then there must be what? An output, right? So here is the what? Output. So what you are going to get at the end. Okay, so these are the three things that you have to pay close attention to if you want to draw almost any graph. So talking about the quadratic graph here, let's have a look at this example. The question says that we should copy and complete the following table, right, for the relation. So this is the relation. This is what we are calling what the relation. So in terms of this explanation, all right, we are going to say here is that this relation here is the machine, right? So everything here is okay. That is the y equal to 3 plus 2s minus or s squared. So everything here is the machine that we are going to take the input, whatever we are having, we are going to place it inside of this machine. Is that okay? So this is the interval. So what are we are having? We are having from -2 to 4. Is that okay? So you are giving the interval, right? So you just follow it as it is. So if you pick a -2 for the first one, so this is a negative here. So you are going to take this -2 here, place that inside this machine. So in terms of the x and y, so your x here is going to be your input, right? So assuming that we are dealing with the children, both the unborn and born or children, so we want to give them some gifts. It can be anything. It's okay. It can be their address or it can be anything. So if you come, then we will determine whether you are a 5 month, a month, or you haven't reached a month, or you are unborn baby. Is that okay? So that we can determine exactly what we can give you at this point. Now, if you are -2, so -2 means that this what it means is let's say you are left with 2 months to deliver. Is that okay? So you are left with 2 months. So let's take this -2 and plug that inside our machine and determine the outcome, what that we are or anything that we can give you at the end. Is that okay? Now, so you have a -2. So what are you going to do here? So whatever you see the x here, s is our input, right? So s is the unborn baby or maybe born baby, depending on the values that we are going to deal with. So you take the -2, you plug that inside the machine. So in terms of the graphical representation, this is the one -2 here. So we are going to place that inside this machine. So things that is in this machine, we have we have 3. Is that okay? 3 plus or 2s minus what s squared. Is that okay? So that is what we are having. So if you have whatever you see the s, then we place what the 2 there. So you have to do that calculation. So meaning that we have 3. Is that okay? Plus or 2 into bracket. There's an x here. That s is -2, and then minus what so this s negative what s squared, that should be what -2 square. Remember to put all the negative into brackets to avoid any confusion with the word the negative. So we have 3 plus or this one will give us a -4. So this multiplied by that one, that should be -4. Okay, so here it tends to be -4. This one -4. 2 square, that should be +4. So here we have the negative here, so that should be a -4, right? So you do this calculation, then you write your answer what in this column. So here we are going to have what the answer to be -5. Okay, so -5. right? So if you solve this, you are going to have that is a 3 minus, so that should be what, -1, -4 minus 4, that should be what, -5. So here is what, -5. That is what we had at the end. Is that okay? So this is something that we are going to give. Let's say that we can keep in terms of a scenario. We are going to hold on your gift since you haven't deliver your baby, right? So that was something simple. Here we are having -5. So the same we have to fill for or the rest of all the portions. So if you have what 1.5, just plug in the 1.5, whatever you are having for the S, plug that inside the machine and then get what you are going to give out at the end. Is that okay? So that is the gift. Now the next line is how to plot it on a graph, right? So this is a very simple scenario that you have to understand before you move on. You proceed in what solving almost any graph. But here specifically, this is what a quadratic graph. The reason why being a quadratic is that there's a square here, right? So if you don't know what a quadratic is, you may join our YouTube channel for more content. Now let's see how to plot this thing on a graph. Now, after performing the calculation, those are some of the field values that I had, right? So I had -5, 0, 3, 4, and so on and so forth, right? So it continues. Now, for the graph, remember that you have to plot everything on the graph. For you to plot everything on the graph, you have to plot this thing in pairs. So what I mean by in pairs is that this guy here, right? So this guy here, the -2 guy, you came with a negative. Let's say this is unborn baby. The gift that that person is getting is -5. So if you want to do that, you want to group them in pairs, right? In order. So meaning that if I take this -2, we are going to take what -5 home. Is that okay? So if you take what -1, then you are taking home what? Nothing, right? So here if you take 0, then that person is going with what? 3. So this, if you group everything in pairs like this, that is what very easy to see. Now if you go to the graph, depending on the scale that they are giving you, right? So if we are not giving any scale, there's a way of doing that. That is why you need to join the channel for more content. But here we are giving what a specific what scale. So the scale here is what they say 2 centimeters to 1 unit on both axes. So what I mean by the axis here is that, assuming this is a graph, right? Assuming this is the graph. So the axis here is the one from the top to down and then left to right. So the one from the top to down, that's what we call the y-axis, and then from the left to the right, that is what we call what the x-axis. Okay, so here I divide everything into 2 parts, right? So in all we are having for 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So here is the positive x-axis, and then here is the y, and then how to plot that is the most important thing. So I have a very beautiful graph here. If your graph looks similar to mine, then that is okay. But if you're having something different from my other matters here, is that you have to get a clear understanding of how to plot everything on the graph. So if you have a look at my graph here from the deep line, what I mean by the deep line here is that it's not advisable to use a pen, right? So here's for the education purpose. That is why I'm using the pen here. So if you want to 2 centimeters here is what from here, right? From the deep line, from this deep line to the another deep line here. So what are you saying that I'm moving from the left to right? So from here to here, that is what we call the 2 centimeters. So the question says that 2 centimeters to 1 inch. So from here to here, that is what 2 centimeters. So 1. So from here to here, that will be 2. From here to here, that should be 3, and so on and so forth. Now, since we are dealing with both negative and positive here, it may be advisable for you to divide the graph into 2 equal parts. So just like as I did on the board here, so you just need to count, right? So you count everything, then divide it into 2 equal parts. So here I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that should be 5, 5. So you are dividing this thing into 5, 5. So draw a line from here top to down, and then from the left to the right. So that should be what you divide everything into 2 equal parts, just like this. Is that okay? So if you are counting, if you want to number, so every 2 centimeters should be what 1 unit. So assuming this is the center, that should be 0. Is that okay? If you want to see a clear definitions of the graph here, make sure that you comment down below, the comment section, so that I will do more lessons on this. Now from 0, so from the 0, remember that they say 2 centimeters to 1 unit. So from here to 2 centimeters, you are going to name here 1. So here should be 2. here should be 3, then here should be 4, right? So the same applies to the y-axis. But before that, on the left hand side of the 0, remember that if you are going on the left hand side, that should be negative. So -1, and then -2, and then -3, and then -4, and so on and so forth, right? Depending on the numbers that are available to you. So here you are having what, 1 here, and then 2, and then what, 3. It's not always 1, 2, 3, depending on the scale that they are giving you, right? Okay. Now, so here you are having -1. So below this 0, that should be -1, -2, and then -3, -4, and so on and so forth, right? So that's how you have to number. So how do you plot? Right, so you plot here. Let assume you want to plot this point here. So you are going to plot the point -2 and then -5. Right, so -2 is on the x or axis, right? So we are picking this 2 from what, this house, right? So the -2 is coming from this house, so meaning that you have to locate this -2 on this line, the x line, right? So you are going to locate that on the x line. So here's the -2, right? So where is the negative? So -2 is here. Is that okay? We are not going to plot here, but remember I said that everything here you have to work in pairs. So -2, comma -5. So if you stand here, here is on -2. So if here is -2, what are you going to do? You are going to locate on -5. You don't move in a slanted way, right? So you move up or down. Is that okay? So on this or -2, right? So be here. So we are going to locate -5. So -5 will be down here. So you move down on the line, down straight on the line, then you are going to locate to a -4. 5. So here is a -4. So -5 will go the next down here. Is that okay? So let's extend our counting here. So here we can extend this one to be on -5. Right? So yeah, that place is on here is on -5. So how do you plot the next one? So the next one to the same thing. You have a -1, comma 0. So -1 is here, right? So -1 is here. So here is the -1. You move top or down. So -1, comma 0. So -1, comma 0 is just on the line. So here will be your point. Is that okay? So remember, here is 0. So 0 is just on this line. So followed by the next one, you have what? 0, comma what, comma 3, right? So 0, comma 3. So meaning that that baby is not even up to a month yet. So we are here. So 0 is here. So locate the 0 on the x-axis, right? So here's the 0, and then comma 3. 3 is on top. So you go up, right? So you go up. So here's 3. Now, if you're able to plot all the points together, all that we are going to do here, then you join all the points, right? So you join all the points. So by what? A free hand. Is that okay? So just a free hand here. So you plot, you join everything, and so on and so forth. I'm sure that it will go down like this, since this is a quadratic. That should be. Make sure that you complete this thing, then give me the answer in the comments. If you have any difficulties, let me know for more. So now, yeah, the rest of the question, if you want to know more things about this, make sure that you comment in the comment section below for more details.